come from the past. We keep hearing the same conversations with the same rhetoric, and we wonder why nothing gets solved and we wonder why nothing changes. We need new thinking. New thinking is going to propel us forward. Our mentality today is one that is backward compatible with the mentality of the slaves in a system that was designed to destroy us over a period of time. We're going to talk about it right now. Gangster talk. Dang.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shoot the game, going for mine.
Alright.
And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the reel.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. True. The average Joe's far too slow for this ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke is cooking, beans is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive. Peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the 4.5. Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me. Bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They'd rather see him spray. But I'm like Diddy, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off. Using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off. Hitting up spots, heating up blocks. Investing in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. I get down for mine. Get down for this. Get money, put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. Get down for this. On the regular, shake hands, no fear. I get down for mine. Get down for this. Get money, put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. Get down for this. On the regular, shake hands. I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't someplace you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. Witness a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AKs. You in a daze, overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. Bahamas a booty smoke. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you're nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical lyrics that stick in the brains like barnacles. Never sleep. I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine. I get down for this. And you want to put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for this. On the regular, shake the fingers, no fear. I get down for mine. I get down for this. And you want to put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for this. On the regular, shake the fingers, no fear. I get down for mine. 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 We keep my down for this. Regular, shake it with no fear.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Gangsta Talk. Man, we have to do better. I am so sick of the conscious community. Why are these guys here? I wish they would just go away. All of these factions, the conscious community, the Hebrew Israelites, the red pillars, I just wish you guys would go away. You're doing more harm than anybody right now. If you look at the mentality of the Negro today, it is backward compatible. It is backward compatible with the old Negro slave system of 400 or 500 years ago. We have Negroes today with the same kind of mentality. And I'm talking about young Negroes. What are young Negroes doing with a 400 or 500 year old slave mentality? You know how they get like that? They get like that through poor parenting, bad teaching, and listening to people in the conscious community who just don't want to get out of the past. And listening to these so-called pseudo scholars on here with their little book reports and their little debates, and all they do is talk about the past. We don't have any new, where is the new thinking? Where is the new age thinking that's going to carry us forward so that we can progress and start winning? Where is the new thinking? We don't have any new thinking. We have a few people here and there, but we don't have enough new thinking. We have entirely too much complacency and too many Negroes that are willing to lay down and talk about what white supremacy has done to us and sit on what white supremacy has done to us, but don't want to do anything to correct what white supremacy has done to us. Don't want to have those conversations. As a matter of fact, when you try to invoke those conversations, they will fight you tooth and nail on not being interested in anything going forward. They're very happy with staying in the past because to many of them, the past makes them feel safe. Because some of you Negroes are so afraid that you feel if you talk about something innovative or something that can help us get out of this losing position, that the boogeyman is coming to get you. That's where we're at right now. Too many black people are afraid of the boogeyman. There's too much backward mentality here in the future. You got black people doing things backwards. I was looking at a situation where they were celebrating DMX's death, right? Everybody had all of these beautiful things to say. They had all of this coming out. Well, did you do that to the man when he was alive? I've been around other races of people, right? Other races of people don't celebrate death the way we do. Some people don't do anything at all when their loved ones pass away because they feel, why go all out now that the person is no longer here to benefit from what you have to offer the person? You see, we don't cherish our people when they're alive. We don't do enough for our people when we're alive. But you know how we know that? It's because when they die, we have all of these things that come out of nowhere. Oh, this brother was this sister was that. You have all these heartfelt things to say that you didn't say when this brother or sister was alive. Now you want to give the family money, something you could have done when it was alive. Now you want to do all of these spectacular things to get your name put out there and get your name attached to it, but you didn't do any of these things when the person was alive. See, that's backward. And then I keep getting comments with these pseudo intellectuals who use words that they don't know the meaning of, trying to sound smart, trying to tell me all of this deep shit that don't add up to a hill of beans. This is why I like to keep things very simple. Simplicity to me is balance. Balance is simple. Keep both sides equal and you will have balance in life, right? But some people don't see it that way. We have too many fake scholars on here spewing nonsense about policies, all kinds of politics that we don't even engage in, dividing black people, sending black people on wild goose chases, talking about shit that don't make any sense like knowledge of self. You got dudes arguing over the goddamn Bible. You got robotic Negroes out here with these Hebrew Israelites. How is it that you got 40, 50, 60, 70 Negroes that can stand on the corner dressed like they're from the Punic Wars, yell at people, but can't get together and do something as simple as feed their community? Having a cookout isn't feeding your community. And here's another thing. Our efforts are puny at best. You got these weak efforts, and you wonder why nothing sustains itself in our neighborhoods because you're not putting any power behind your deeds. We're pretty much settling for the bare minimum. It's kind of like guys who don't want to pay child support, right? They pay the bare minimum. As soon as a guy gets put on child support, he confers with another brother that's been put on child support, who's been on child support for a long time. So the one who's been on child support for a long time seems to be a pro at being on child support. So they go to that brother for advice. Hey, I just got put on child support. You've been on child support for 60 years. Can you give me some advice? Yeah, brother, pay the bare minimum. The bare minimum. You got guys advising young fathers to pay the bare minimum to take care of their children. And that's pretty much the effort that we put into our communities. We do the bare minimum. Puny efforts. I heard the Hebrew Israelites talking about they had a cookout. And a couple of people in the neighborhood came to the cookout and got a plate, and they call that feeding their community. That's not feeding your community. That's a cookout where people came by and gave, and got a few plates. Feeding your community is having a consistent program that's going house to house and delivering groceries, canned goods on a daily basis. That's feeding your community. Having one cookout where people can come by and just get a plate for that one time is not feeding your community. This is what I'm talking about, these puny efforts and the misunderstanding on what works and what doesn't work. Telling me that you had a cookout, and then on top of that, coming behind it with you fed your community, tells me that you're full of shit and you're just looking for some kind of accolade to condone that you're hiding behind a shield of irresponsibility. Because all of these factions are shields of irresponsibility. That is why they hide behind these shields so much. And they're bold. They come out into the community. You got brothers who are proud to come out and stand on a corner and dress like clowns, right? And show you that they are nobody and that they are insufficient in Black society, ineffective in Black society. They are clowns who are do-nothings. And I am sick and tired of these kinds of Negroes. And these kinds of Negroes, along with the black hand of white supremacy. Matter of fact, I'm going to add them into the black hand of white supremacy. This black hand of white supremacy is devastating Black people. Because the amount of black people that they occupy and they distract, the number is phenomenal. These guys, when they go live, they got 8, 900, 2,000, 3,000. So I've even seen some with 15,000 people in their chat. I hope that's not all black men. Because if it is, we're finished. Because if that's who is occupying the minds and the time of our young black men and middle-aged black men, then it's no wonder that we are nothing in the grand scheme of things. And that we own half of 1% of the wealth of this country, and we don't have any goddamn future to speak of, and there's no leadership in our communities. Seriously, when we got 800 to 3,000 and 4,000 Negroes listening to these bums, it's no wonder that we're finished as black men. Finished. You couldn't get these motherfuckers, excuse my French, to rub two nickels together. And it's the same conversation over and over and over and over and over again. You got bums who come on, they do lives, arguing about the Bible, arguing about the Torah, arguing about the Quran. You got dudes wasting their time debating each other, won't do a damn thing in the community to help any kids, won't set up nothing in the community. And what kills me is all this intellectualism that we claim to possess. Where are our schools? How come our kids are failing at standardized tests? Where are our schools? With all this so-called intellectual might that is being displayed on social media. Bunch of half measures and long-winded pseudo scholars. Where are our schools? Where are the things in our society that says that black people are progressing and that we are starting to win? Where are these things? I don't see anything out there that's telling me that as black people, we are starting to progress and we are starting to win. What I still see is black people in last place in a losing position, fighting for a secure spot at the top of the very bottom. That's what I see. And I'm kind of confused because every time I turn on social media, there's some egghead up here claiming that they do research and that they're smart and no one is smarter than them. And they only go to intellectual channels and have intellectual debate. But yet none of that translates to anything worth a damn in real time, in the real world for black people. When will that happen? When will your research benefit black people in real time in the real world? When will all of this scholarship start to benefit black people in real time in the real world? Because it's not doing a damn thing on social media. Nothing. And then you guys act like jealous monkeys. Somebody throws you a damn banana and you get to fighting and scrapping and clawing at each other. Then you get into arguments and you start to threaten each other. This is the example that you show the young generation. It's no wonder that our younger generation are turning into lunatics. It's no wonder that we got homicidal maniacs running around here killing women and children. Look at the display of leadership that they're learning from. You are what we have to offer. You older black men who should, many of you should be ashamed of yourselves. I sit here and I watch podcast after podcast, and I listen to some of you elder brothers who've absolutely lost your damn minds and should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be teaching and leading the younger generation. What you're doing is you're misleading them and you're trying to make them assimilate into a culture that was never designed for them, which is European culture, white culture. You want them to assimilate into white culture and be second class or be the last class or the lowest class. You want them to lick boots and get used to different flavors of shoe polish. You don't want them to shine. You don't, as a matter of fact, you are afraid of them thriving because you don't want massa to get upset. You don't want master to turn that boot that you're licking on his side and put it up your candy ass, right? So you're afraid for the young youth to be innovative and creative, for them to strive and be the new inventors of technology. So what you do is you try to stunt their growth. You try to, and I've heard some of you, you try to discourage them. You want them to assimilate. You want them to go along to get along. You want them to pick their favorite brand of shoe polish and get used to licking it off the master's boots. And many of you have no shame. You have no shame because you feel that you're behind a wall of protection. You believe that the European is going to protect you and the European has your back. No. As soon as he gets a clear shot, he's going to put holes in your back. They just did that to a black man, right? Shot him in the back of the head. You guys see the writing on the wall and you act like you don't see it. For some reason, you seem to think because you are sold out that you're somehow some kind of hot commodity amongst Europeans. Oh, you're hot, all right. Now, some of you are afraid and probably have been afraid your whole life. I can tell by the way many of you talk that you have no real fight in you. And that if you didn't have social media, you would probably commit suicide because this is really your last effort to make yourself feel like you're somebody because your life is pathetic. You've allowed your life to become pathetic. Instead of trying to enrich the lives of our young youth, you are trying to tarnish their lives because you are mentally weak and you've given up. You've capitulated. You've sold out. Or, as your boy would say, you brought in. You brought in the white supremacy. You are the reason why many young black people now have a backward mentality that's compatible with the slave Negroes of 400 or 500 years ago. Because you keep that BS pumped in their minds. You don't provide them with any new way of thinking. You don't provide them with any new innovation. You constantly remind them of what their ancestors went through, and you constantly program them to think like their ancestors and behave like their ancestors. Guys like Jesse Lee Peterson, an embarrassment to humankind. Forget about an embarrassment to black people. This man is an embarrassment of other humans. Seriously, as a human, I wouldn't want to be around Jesse Lee Peterson. I would feel some kind of way as a human just being around somebody like that. I would feel like I shouldn't be around someone like that. He's an embarrassment to humankind. So guys like him, Larry Elder, Ken Hamlin, Stacey Abrams, Candace Owens, these super sellouts, I don't see any difference between them and the conscious community. I don't see any difference between them and the manners queers. I don't see any difference between them and the SYSBM or Red Pill or the Hebrew Israelites. What makes the Hebrew Israelites so different from Candace Owens and Jesse Lee Peterson and Larry Elder and Ken Hamlin and David West, to mention a few coons, super coons? What's so different? There really isn't any difference. They're all the same. These are super sellouts. And we have large groups of black men who support this kind of mentality, this kind of backward mentality, this kind of backwards compatibility to the mentality and the system of 450 years ago. It's sickening to listen to 40 and 50-year-olds that sound like frightened rabbits. Sound like frightened rabbits. Scared out of their minds. Larry Elder is so scared. He looks like a deer in headlights all the time. You see how his eyes are so big and wide that they look like they're about to bug out of his skull? That's fear. That's fear. Same thing with Jesse Lee Peterson. Look at Candace Owens. She got the same look Larry Elder has. Eyes open, wide as I don't know what. Eyes about to bug out of the goddamn skull. Scared out of her mind. We have too many scared Negroes. Too many. We need brothers with some courage. Now, in light of what's been going on with the George Floyd verdict, we do have some brothers who are starting to get on code. Now, that's a good thing. We got some brothers pulling up, showing up. That's a good thing. We need more. And we need to get rid of the conscious community. This is a war that we're in. And understand, it's not a fair fight. Our enemy is powerful. Our enemy has a mighty machine. That is called white supremacy, that has tentacles that reach just about everywhere. And all of those tentacles aren't white. Some of those tentacles are Spanish tentacles. Some of them are Asian tentacles. Some of them are black tentacles. You got black tentacles also a part of the mighty racist machine. You don't believe me? Just look at Candace Owens, Stacey Abrams, Larry Elder, Ken Hamlin, David West, Jesse Lee Peterson. I mean, Jesse Lee Peterson is so bad. I don't even understand how the other coons could stomach him. You got Anthony Bryan Logan. These guys are making money. They're making money at your expense by selling out their people. They have no compassion in their heart. You got Jesse Lee Peterson up there lying, just lying right out of his face, saying the most craziest things I have ever heard anybody say. Just straight up lying, saying dumb things like you become what you hate. We got Negroes like Candace Owens who have such an ugly heart that she has no compassion for a dying human being. Look how ugly we've become as Black people. You're talking about a race of people that is the original race on this earth. The original Black, the original woman is Black, the original man is Black. You're talking about a benevolent people that have become so ugly inside that we no longer respect human life. And that's kind of odd since we're the only race on this earth that is the most human. But we have gotten to the point where we have no respect for life. A man is murdered in front of the entire world. He was slowly and agonizingly suffocated by a lunatic that was so full of hatred. He had a look of enjoyment on his face while he was slowly suffocating this man's life out of his body. You know, back in the day when I was growing up, when you got into fights, we used to call you a coward if you called for your mama, because it meant that you was in a fight over your head. And some people shouldn't be messed with. See, we can't go around this world messing with everybody. Some people you should leave alone. Some people got your ticket. Some people got your checkout card. Some people can punch your ticket. And when we got into fights, and the fights tend to be a little bit more than we can chew, and we got out of there and some people ran away, they called for their mommy and daddy, we would laugh at you. We would say, oh, you a coward, you called for your mommy. But back then it was a little bit different because people didn't die. It was just a humiliating experience because you got into a fight and you got your ass whooped and you got chased home crying for your mama. So it was a humiliation thing. You still survived it though. I mean, you were still alive. You may have been embarrassed, but you were still alive. This man, we sat and watched a murder take place in cold blood. And what's sad about it, right? Some of us looked at it as entertainment. Some of us looked at it like it was entertainment. I've heard hundreds of conversations about what they saw on that tape from a whole bunch of people. And the conversations vary so greatly. But one thing I noticed that was common amongst many of those conversations, many people who saw that didn't really understand what they saw or really couldn't connect with what they saw. They couldn't feel anything for what they saw. So to them, it was just entertainment. Their conversations was something like this. Man, that's screwed up, man. Why you do that black man like that? See, that's what I'm talking about, man. You know, cops got to stop playing, man. You know, that wasn't cool at all. I missed my show, man. That's something that happened on these shows. You see stuff like that happening on these TV shows. You know, I heard conversations like that from black people. Then I heard conversations like this. Man, they smoked that nigga. They smoked that Negro. I bet you another Negro won't pass no $20 bill in that store. Yeah, man. Yo, man, they getting them like that over counterfeit bills, yo. And then laughter ensued. I've heard those conversations too. Now I heard different conversations about it, right? But the most heartfelt conversations I heard about, legitimate heartfelt conversations where people actually was hurt by what they saw and was actually bothered by what they saw, all them conversations came from black women. None of them came from black men. The ones that came from black men was a bunch of BS. Stupid stuff like, man, that was messed up, man. You know, dude shouldn't have passed that $20 bill, man. That's what you get for playing games, man, playing around. See, I heard a bunch of BS from black dudes. But the most compassion came from the black women. You know why? Because that black man cried out for his black mother. Before that was the last thing he said when he took his dying breath. He called out for his mother. Say what you want, but that triggered a lot of black women. I know that there's some of you out there that hate black men. There's some of you out there that feel that black men, that he didn't deserve the concern and the love that he got from a lot of black women. I understand all that. I understand why you feel that way, because some people say he was a swirler and all this other stuff. And I get all of that. But here's my issue, right? This was a human life. This was a man, whether he was a swirler or not. This was a man with black children. This was a man that was being murdered in one of the most heinous ways I've seen since Corrine Gaines. And I'm still bothered by Corrine Gaines. I can't get that out of my head. I'm going to do a tribute to Corrine Gaines. The way they did her was just, y'all just don't get it. They did that woman dirty. That's still bothering me. But anyway, this was a man. So as human beings, as being benevolent as black people are, and being the most human, you're going to tell me we can't respect black life? Yes, he was a swirler. I get all that. I get that he was whatever. But is it about swirling, or is it about something bigger than that? See, we have to make a decision as black people, because George Floyd wasn't targeted and he wasn't murdered because he was a swirler. Oh, well, that's the conversation. That's the infighting type conversation amongst black people. I get all of that. But that's not what he was killed for. He was killed because he was black. And that can stem to any one of us. regardless of if we're swirling, non-swirling, pro-swirling, don't matter if we're coons either. We already seen what happened to a coon. They spoke one of them too. And Anthony Brian Logan is so dumb and so scared that they tried to take him out by squatting his house, and he probably blamed it on himself. See, it doesn't matter if you're a coon. Doesn't matter. These race soldiers are pulling guns out on black people, period. They don't care nothing about what your status is. All they care about is that you are black. And that's what a lot of you just don't seem to get. This is a very simple understanding here that we seem to have a hard time coming to grips with. These race soldiers don't give two shakes of a cat's ass whether you are ABL, JBL, DBL, Larry Elder, Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus, Candace Owens, Stacey Abrams. And Stacey Abrams, I would tell y'all something. Y'all think Candace Owens is bad? Stacey Abrams is just as bad, if not worse. He's just not as vocal as Candace Owens. But you ought to go get a load of this shit she be saying. But anyway, Larry Elder, one of the worst Uncle Toms I've ever seen. I wouldn't even call him Uncle Tom because Uncle Tom was a hero. One of the worst Sambos I've ever seen. Because the Sambo is what killed Uncle Tom, y'all. You see, a Sambo is dangerous. A Sambo will kill for white folks. See, a lot of y'all don't understand the real story of Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was actually a hero. So calling guys like Jesse Lee Peterson and calling so-and-so Uncle Tom, you're actually giving them a compliment. Now, I understand that you got some Negroes out there who've been educated in the European system, and they're trying to get you to believe the unrealistic story of Uncle Tom. I get all that. But you see, it was the Sambo that killed Uncle Tom. You see, the Sambo is dangerous. Sammy Davis Jr. was a Sambo. Y'all don't realize how gangster Sammy Davis Jr. was. Oh yeah, he may look like the original Urkel to you, but Sammy Davis was a gangster. Seriously, he was gangster, and he would take your life over white folks. A Sambo is a white supremacist soldier, black soldier. A Sambo is who the white supremacists get to go into the ghetto and do their dirty work. They're willing to take black life. The Sambo is willing to take black life for the master. A Sambo is dangerous. A Sambo is no ordinary coon. Okay? A Sambo is dangerous. And so you got these Sambos like Candace Owens, and they do it in so many different ways too. They can do it physical, and they can do it verbal. They can do it social, like Candace Owens. She's like a social assassin, just assassinating black people. in the media, assassinating the image of black people. Jesse Lee Peterson, assassinating the image of black people. Jesse Lee Peterson running around telling white people that black people are dangerous. Y'all know that? The man is on his show almost every day telling white people that black people are dangerous. Jesse Lee Peterson, in his own way, is trying to incite a race war. He's trying to incite a race war. He's on his show telling white people that black people are dangerous. Stacey Abrams is telling the world that all black men are rapists. And that no matter what year you was born as a black male, you rape someone. And that you're born in a rape culture. So you got one Sambo trying to say that black men and black male boys are rapists. You got another Sambo telling white people that black people are dangerous and trying to incite his own race war. You got another Sambo and Candace Owens just assassinating black character, period. So these Sambos are working like a special force unit on black op missions. Coon Special Forces, Sambos. If you want to look at it in terms of military, the Coon would be the regular soldier, and the Sambo would be Special Forces. Your Sambo would be your airborne rangers. Not saying airborne. Hey. Let me get something straight, okay? Let me put out a disclaimer. I'm not saying airborne rangers are coons. I'm not saying Green Berets are coons. I'm not saying SEALs are coons. I'm not saying any of that. Okay? So don't come here talking about, well, you called me, I'm an airborne, and you called me. No. I'm just using it as an example right now to make another point. Not saying that airborne rangers are coons. I'm saying if we were to say that the coons would be the military, if they were the military, the coons would be your regular soldiers, and your Sambos would be the special forces. They would be like your airborne rangers, your Green Berets, your SEALs, your I forgot the other one, Delta Force. Those would be your Sambos. And again, don't come at me with this BS about I call airborne rangers coons, I call Delta Force coons. I didn't do that. I'm ex-military myself. Okay, I'm ex-Navy. I ain't call these guys coons. All right, so I don't want to hear nobody come here talking about, well, what do you call no. That's not what I'm saying. All right. But anyway, we got these dangerous Sambos. Now let me get back to the backward compatibility. Why did I choose the title Backward Compatibility? I chose it because the conscious that black people have now is backward compatible to the conscious that black people had during slavery. See, backward compatibility can consist of a system. So the mentality of the black people today is compatible with the system of yesteryear, the system of slavery and white supremacy. And they have the behavior to boot. What are guys like? This is what kills. This is what bothers me a lot, and I'm so sick and tired of seeing this. Every time the master throw you guys a piece of a piece of meat off the bone of his table, right? You come on social media, you come out here and you act like everything is over with. Like that Sambo on the Breakfast Club. And you got the nerve to have a segment on there called Donkey of the Day or the Donkey of the Week. Or whatever you call it, the Donkey of the Week, Donkey of the Day, Charlemagne. I mean, that should be you every day. As a matter of fact, you should come in with a donkey mask on. And them guys, man, they sound like coons, don't they? They even open up their show like Sambos. You can tell that they Sambos. Let me tell you something. Having a show and interviewing people on your show isn't contributing to black society. That's not doing it. What are you doing contributing? What are you contributing to black society with your show? Are you using the proceeds from your show to build infrastructure in the black community? Now, if you was doing that, I would have respect for you. But you're not doing that. Every time the master gives you a crumb off his table, you Negroes show your loyalty by absolutely going crazy. All of a sudden, all lives matter. All of a sudden, Black Lives Matter are criminals. All of a sudden, there is no racism. Let me tell you something, man. Black people are the most immature people in this country when it comes down to having money. Now, I'm not going to say this about the black women because I can't speak for them. But I'm a black man, and I've seen this with a lot of brothers. Very, very immature when it comes down to money. You start acting like, oh, I got mine. Like Lil Wayne. What kills me is, how is it that you come up in the hood? And I challenge anybody from the hood. Even if you want to whoop my ass, I will fight you in a fair fight. I'm not saying I will win all the fights because some of y'all will probably whoop my ass, but I can still handle up physically even at the age of 54. I will still knock a few of you young niggas out. But eventually you might whoop my ass. And I'm not afraid of an ass whooping. Okay? But I'm going to call out some names, even if you want to whoop my ass. You know, I kind of find it interesting, guys like Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, and brothers like that who grew up in the hood talking about racism and police brutality. Now that you got a little bit of money, all of a sudden your mentality changes, right? All of a sudden you act like you don't see what's going on. Now, not so much Ice Cube. But he did say something that I thought was a little suspect. He did say when you got money, you get treated better. I understand that, but I'm kind of wondering about something. Because you get treated better, does that change your mentality towards your people? That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm concerned with. Because you're being treated better because you got some money. Now all of a sudden, are you no longer pro-black? You're no longer about your people? Now, some people say, well, I tried to live in the hood, right? And niggas is crazy. Well, niggas is crazy in the hood because we're doing the wrong thing. We're not living in the hood and doing anything about the hood. See, you can't be a star and live in the hood and think the hood is going to change because you're not doing anything. If you're in the hood, if you're a star and you're in the hood and you're getting the fathers together to get this bad element out of the hood, then you're doing something. Now, most people will speculate that Nipsey Hussle is dead because of such and such and such and such. But what if he's dead because of absentee fathers? Has anybody thought about that? That dude, Eric Holder, right? How screwed up his mind was. Did he have a father? Did anybody do anybody think when these people get shot up, do you think does it ever cross your mind that they died because of absentee fatherhood, of absentee fathers? Now, I'm not denying that Nipsey Hussle was doing some things, but has it crossed any mind that he died because of absentee fathers? The guy that killed him, Eric Holder, seemed to be a grown adolescent, a grown man with a young boy mentality, weak emotionally. And what kills me is, check this out. Somebody said, well, you can't have a reputation in the hood amongst people. If somebody call you a snitch or if somebody says such and such, you got to live in the hood. Yeah, but check this out. Why is that? There was no production in your hood. So who are you worried about in your hood? There's no production. Your hood is eradicated and saturated with crime. And so that's what you are worried about. You're worried about the people who are saturating your community with crime. They're the ones who won't allow you to live in that community, not the regular people in that community who go to work every day and who work hard every day, who aren't involved in criminal activity, who are not out there selling drugs, shooting people, knocking old ladies upside the head. Surely they're not the people you have to worry about your reputation with. The people you have to worry about your reputation with are the people who are saturating your neighborhood with crime, crime and misery. They're the ones who won't allow you to live in their bad element. It's not the working people. It's not the everyday people who work hard. The people who send their children to school to get educated to become decent human beings. It's not them. So if you're worried about an element like that allowing you to live, then the problem is you. Because you see that bad element, for you to worry about what they think, you have to be involved in that element yourself. So you are involved in that bad element. You are a part of the problem. One second here. Dame,
Yes.
hold it down for about 5 seconds. I got to reboot. I'm frozen.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I never, thought about it that way. But yeah, um These young men grew up without a father, halfway, uh, um, well, claiming it's not his, not trying to take care of. And they end up growing up taking care of themselves or looking for their father in the street. But yeah, I didn't think about it. If you care about what they think, then you part of the problem because you're doing what they doing.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm almost back. Keep
Yeah,
talking, Dan.
yeah. So if you're doing what they doing, you just part of the problem. You're creating the problem. You complicit. You are so shooks. You the problem itself.
Mm-hmm. And like
Yeah.
I said, whenever a brother is murdered in the community, do we allow ourselves to believe or think for 1 minute that he's murdered? He was murdered because of absentee fathers. Thank you, Dan. I
Hmm.
appreciate it. You can
Okay.
go back on mute. Do we allow ourselves to think that if we had strong fathers in the community raising their children and setting the standard of discipline for their young boys, would we have a neighborhood saturated with crime? No, we wouldn't. You know why? Because who are the perpetuators, the greatest perpetuators of crime? Dan, do me a favor. Come back in here real quick.
Okay.
Are you at your computer?
No, I am away from the computer.
Okay.
Hmm.
Can you look something up on your phone real quick?
Okay. Yeah.
Look up the word perpetuate.
Okay.
Read that definition to me.
Okay.
Gonna show y'all something. Gonna break something down to y'all and show y'all something you never thought about. And the reason why you never thought about it is because you're being distracted. This is why I got a problem with these factions. Shout out to Yeti Black. Shout out to the real Aaron Collins. Soon as Dame get up in here with my definition, I will proceed. You see, we have been taught to point the finger somewhere else. We've been taught that that's the norm, right? Point the finger somewhere else, and then people won't see where the problem originated from and where the problem still resides. The problem originated from us, and the problem still resides with us as Black men. Damon, you there? All right, don't know where Dame is. Um, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Dame, are you there? Okay. Anyway, the greatest threat in the black community, right, is black men. They commit the most crimes of anybody in the community. So if black men are committing the most crimes, what does that tell you about how the community is being ran? It means that there is no leadership in that community. And so black men commit the most crimes, black males, then that resides with the fathers, doesn't it? You see, we didn't do crime in our neighborhood when we was younger because we had strong fathers who were fathers who disciplined us. It did not allow us to commit crimes and did not teach us to commit crimes and taught us the consequences of committing crimes and gave us knowledge about what committing crimes against your own people does to your community. And it was off of those teachers alone that we did not commit crimes in our neighborhood. So when we go to Nipsey Hussle and guys like that who've been murdered in the community, look at who they were murdered by. A lot of young males who were misguided and raised in the street, who wear gang colors, who are weak emotionally, and they pack guns. So whose fault is that? That's not the black woman's fault. Who commit the most crimes in any black neighborhood? It's black males. So that is the problem with black male leadership and black fatherhood. You see, because the fathers can put the kibosh on this behavior real quick. See, it is the failure of the fathers and the black male leaders in our community. We have too many inept leaders who are weak and passive. A lot of them are weak and passive because of religion. We have too many absentee dads, too many derelict fathers, and they all contribute to this bad killer youth development. I call it the Killer Youth Project. KYP, Killer Youth Project. And so, what goes into this Killer Youth project to create these killer youths? The ingredients is passive, or shout out to my sister Cynthia G, the beautiful Cynthia G. Black male passivity. That's one ingredient. The next ingredient, absentee fathers. Next ingredient, derelict fathers. Next ingredient, effeminate black males. These are the ingredients that go into creating killer youth. You see, all of these things are hard at work in our community, making the Killer Youth Project a huge success. So now our youth have turned into homicidal and psychotic killers.
Max.
Yes.
Okay, perpetuate. Sorry. Um, make something typically an undesirable situation or unfounded belief, continued indefinitely.
Again, who are the perpetuators of crime in black communities? Black males. So I ask you again, if there was strong leadership in the community, if the Negroes weren't passive and they took uh Dame, Dame, Dame. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on one second. Abby,
Yes, ma'am.
do me a favor. Take over for me real quick. I'll be right back. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Just talk to the people. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's true what Mr. Mas is saying in those kind of black communities. That's what we need to do as a black people. Yeah, sorry for that. I'm having some cold, so maybe you might be hearing it in my voice. Yeah, you see, there is one thing that we need to know that we cannot be like this all the time as a black people. We can't, and we cannot be like the other people who are suffering people. No, we can't. As we are here now, many are we black that we never knew what is going on in other places, and we need to learn. We need to understand that hey, there's things goes on in other places. As a black community, what are we going to do to save these black people who are suffering and who are trying to know what they never knew? You see, we need people who will be teaching other people black culture or American culture for them to learn. Because we have other people, they are blacks, but they don't know American culture. And we think we can be blacks at the same, that we can. We are black people, but we have our different culture that we base on it. Like for example, Africans have their own culture, but they are black people. Americans have their own culture, but they are black people. So this is the case that hey, we need to teach the Americans our culture, and the Americans also need to teach their culture for us to learn these both cultures. And then we can make one people and we can be one as a black family. Without doubt, we will be selling out all the time. We'll be taking our people for evil people to be killing them. That's what we're gonna do. But when we start creating some kind of love relationship between this kind of black people, no one is going to do any sellout. No one is going to come to our community to kill our children, our wives, our brothers, our sisters, our loved ones. No, they can't come to our community. Yeah, they can't come at all. Because look at what is going on now, especially in America. I feel pity sometimes when I see it because these are the family, these are the children, these are the future leaders that we are waiting for, we are looking for them to be supporting our children. They are rather trying to kill us. And what pains me a lot is about our own family or our own brothers who are doing these evil things because they are citizens. They are people who don't want to be in this black community. They want to sell out everybody. Yeah. And when we do that, I don't think we can be moving forward. We will be one place without going anywhere. And we need to put a stop to it because these are the things that is going on very well, and I hate it. Look at the way our children see these innocent children, 3 years baby boy will die by maybe cops, 2 years baby boy will be dying by maybe their mother and father were having some problem. That's why now we have this kind of fatherless children all the time. Why will it happen like that? Have we been asking ourselves that even the white people are they leaving their children like that for them to be dying? No. So if we said we are blessed, these are the way we have to do it. We have to gather all of our children. We have to grab all our families to be closer to us, and then we can save them from dying.
Yeah, but we can't just think about just our individual family. You're part of a community. You know, sometimes you have to look out for the children in your community, your neighborhood, your neighbors. Um, sometimes being the eyes and the ears. You know,
Hmm.
hmm
Yeah, people
or
been there
helping.
and yeah, they've been there. They know that you see they have those kind of eye in the community that they will be watching these children, but because it's not their blood or it's not their own children, they don't care whatever is happening to them. But let me tell you something: whether you're a child or not, once they are black children, they are also your children. They are also your lovers. They are also your husband. They are also your wives.
Mhm. Yeah,
Go ahead
they're
and do
also
it.
gonna grow up to be your daughter-in-law, your son-in-law. They're gonna be a part of your family. If you look out for them now, you'll be creating or help to create the better husband for your daughter, the better wife for your son.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but because when you live there, you see, now the generation that we are having, these youth that they are coming, or these children that they are coming, they are the people who are going to take our generation to future. They are going to learn whatever we teach them. They are the people who can change these evil things which is going on in our communities, in
Mhm.
everywhere. Because for them, we need to teach them whatever they need to learn. We need to help them to know. Look at what these people do to us. Look at what these people happen to. Yeah, then we teach these children. They are innocent mind and they can learn better. And they are not going to be like sissy man and those stuffs.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and then they can learn to work with other like-minded men and help build the community, fix the community, expand the community. So it won't be just these few blocks got good men. Then it extend to the next blocks and the next blocks, and before you know it, you'll have the whole city.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they think, you see, the reason why they've been killing these children, they know these children have a future. And they know these children are those people who will be coming to save our forefathers, those times that they fight for us. These are the children who are coming to fight for us, to fight for our rights, to help us know what we need to do. So they will remove them from there so that we will not have anybody who is come to fight for our future. That's why they
Mhm.
kill these innocent souls. They made these young children die all the time. And look at the way they killed them. They let them be in suffer, be in pain, and they let them die.
Yeah. Well, frankly, let's be honest, they don't really care. That's not theirs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And their philosophy is, hey, if you're not going to take care of them, you're not going to do anything for them. Why should I? Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, these
That is
children
true.
belong to the black community, and so they're ours. And don't try to be separated. So, no, that's those kids over there. They're not my kids. No, they're your kids.
Yeah,
You're just another father or mother that's neglecting them. You're another auntie and grandma that's not helping them out.
mhm,
You're another uncle that's not being there mentoring them. Hey, you're not another mentor to steer them away from the path they're going, or keep them from going down dangerous paths.
yeah. That is true.
Yes, all right.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So we got to get out of that mindset of they're not my kids, or they too dangerous to approach. You can't do anything. I say you can talk, you can show concern. Okay, and for those that try and they weren't showing appreciation of us, that's gonna happen. You're gonna find that anywhere. There's gonna always be somebody that's not gonna understand or show appreciation for what you do. But if you're consistent with it, they'll learn. But
Yeah,
because everybody else has failed them before, They thinking you just there to just talk the talk, but ain't gonna actually walk the walk. So yeah, they're gonna push you away. You know, they're not gonna trust to be vulnerable. You can't
Yeah.
expect them to be willing to be vulnerable right away. And shooks, you giving in too easily because it's a little hard, or you got to put more effort into it. That's the problem. Nobody's willing to put the effort. Nobody's willing to put in the work. Or everybody's waiting to see who's gonna start first. Be like, there's nothing going on in my community. You know, there's no youth program. I can't get any volunteers. It could don't have to be a youth program. It could be just you. And you talk, and if you connecting to your community, talk to the other men in your community. You find you're not the only one. Maybe you're one of a
Yeah.
handful of
When you see
fathers
this,
or a handful of men.
mhm, yeah. When you see these children in your community or your area or your place where you are living, and you see them being tired, being suffered, you know it's black children. You go ahead and help them out. Help them because they are one of your brother's daughter. They are one of your brother's son. They are one of your auntie's daughter or son. And you need to help them so that they will not go ashamed. They will not be dying. Those children be not getting anybody to help them because in the olden days, what I know, if you don't, if I have a child and you didn't have, and I meet your child who was doing evil thing or who was doing nasty thing, I might beat your child. You will not come out and fight me. But now, because most of us have been getting this kind of mindset, so when you fight some or you beat somebody's daughter or son, you might be fighting with a father or a family member. But we need to go ahead and do that so that they'll fight us. For the world to know that we did our best for these children. We did our best to save them um, from these evil things. We did our best to save these children's life. Let us treat them like the way our forefathers did, because our forefathers did not leave us like this way. They did not let us down. No, they never leave us. They always been there when we call. Let us be there when these children call us. Let us be available when these children need us, when their mothers is available needing us. Let us be there and help them out. Yeah. Yeah, we can't be there like this and always we be hearing evil things in our communities. That's why now we are having this kind of ghetto in our community and everywhere we go. And they are trying to destroy the men, trying to turn them like a woman. But they are not a woman. They are men. Because these men have not been getting this advice. They never knew we have people who would sit them down and give them knowledge or put mind in their mindset for them to know, because they never knew. When these children being turned together, they will try to invite somebody into their great party. They will try to invite them into their communities.
Mhm.
So if you don't save them, do you think these children are not going to spoil? Are not going to be destroyed? They will.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And
Why didn't I driving?
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I am driving. So, oh, as I was trying to say that that but we I know we keep talking about the boys, but that's because it's more obvious with the boys. We thinking, oh, the girls are not having an issue because their dad is not there. Um, because oh, she has the she's growing up with the parent of her sex. No, the girls need the daddy there too. How you
Yeah,
think they're being so promiscuous? They looking for daddy in all the wrong places. And there's grown men taking advantage of the fact that they lonely, they want love, and that they'll do anything to get it, including that sexual stuff.
yeah,
Shoot. In, in fact, they are accepting degeneration as normal. It's becoming so prevalent. It's not a daddy showing them what a man is supposed to be like, how a man's supposed to be. They there's not a daddy there to show them what's an acceptable man for them. Not a daddy there, or they're fighting because there's not a daddy there to have their back, knowing that he's gonna fight for them. So they don't expect the man to fight for them. So they fight all their fights themselves alone. Or is all the women getting together to fight and defend each other? All the
mm-hmm.
women, all the girls,
Yeah,
and you wondering why? Because they have no man. They don't know it was masculine. As far as they're concerned, as long as they doing it, is feminine. Well, actually, it is in one sense. But yeah, a lot of the reason why the girls are becoming more aggressive and fighting more is because they know they don't have no man having their back. So they
yeah,
expect they the only ones who's gonna defend them. Or maybe my sisters, my mother, my auntie, another female. They used to men coming at them aggressively. They don't know what it's like to have a man to defend them and have their back. Yeah, and so when they give their love furiously. They're not accepting a lot of this stuff, or they accept it, and then you go wrong. It's gonna come out, and it's gonna come out violently. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll be with y'all in just a second. I'm going in the house. You got it, Abana?
Okay, okay,
Okay.
no problem. I'll be taking about. Yeah, sorry, I have some cold, a little bit cold, so I have this kind of noise in my head and my nose here. Basically, yeah. As we continue to say, you see, sometimes what I think a lot about we blacks like we should be doing for ourselves. One, we need to take care of our women. That's the number one because women need a man in their side. We need men to guide us. We need men to protect us. We need men to provide. Women, we can provide as well, but that is the men needs to do it. When they can do it, then we will support them. But here is the case that we have this men and they leave everything for the women to do that. We cannot be doing all things that men supposed to do. We are a woman. For the men to be safe, for the men, we need to protect them. Yes. But what are we going to do to protect the men also? We've been protecting them from being okay with them in the house. But the men supposed to protect us wherever we send or wherever we find ourselves. We need this man to be protecting us from death. We can't have any one man protecting the woman, and then we see these women all the time. Then the men will be saying, "Okay, it's the woman's fault. I love this woman, but that is his fault. Who was doing this? Yeah. Why are you blaming the woman that is his fault? Who tell you that it's the woman's fault? What did the woman do? Did the woman kill you? Did the woman do you anything? No. We never do anything evil been doing to you. All we've been doing to help you, man, to make whatever you want to make in life. But it seems like this man doesn't appreciate what we've been doing for them. They never appreciate it. And then they go ahead and say it's the fault of the woman. The woman cannot train or the woman cannot take care of a man. What are you trying to say? Are we not the people, are not the same woman who take care of you when you are young? Is that not a woman? So what the men have been doing? They be running away, leaving these children, every children that they give birth to the mother to be taken care of. And you see, this mother will take care of these children without the man's support. He doesn't mind. There's no man. But see, when the woman finish and maybe he been tired in the middle and he put a stop to it, then this man will be going ahead and say, that is your fault. I told you you can't take care of these children. Look at this. How many times are we going to say these things? Are we not ashamed of ourselves by saying that is a woman's fault? We need to sit down, sit up, because the men leave everything for the women to do. That's why black we are not moving forward. That's why blacks we don't want to move an inch. We always be where we are. When we doesn't change our mindset, we never change how we treat our children and our women. I tell you, black people are going to be the same and they're not going to move any forward. We need to learn some things. It looks like people never understand most of the pain that women have been through. We are kind of a woman that when you be in pain, pains, no matter what, somebody will come and calms you down. It won't be like someone who never been in pain before. So it looks like we black women, we have been pain a lot. We have been in treatment, badly treatment a lot. So we were looking forward that, hey, we get our men who are going to help us, who are going to protect us, who are going to train us. We are not getting it. We rather get the insults, the whole names, calling us names. That's what we are getting from the men. I cannot be there like that. Never. You see, when we start putting out some notice down or jotting some points down, telling ourselves this is our point that we're going to use for our future, we're going to use it for our women. As a marriage people have been married, but they don't understand what we call it marriage. Marriage is about you and your wife being together and loving each other. being there for each other. So assuming you are with your woman and you left the house and she pick a phone and say, "But dear, I'm in the house. Please, I need your help." You must be there. But because this man thinks that, oh, that is everything that the woman have to do. Whatever the woman is in pain, he don't care. All he's do is that he been lying down playing games on his phone, playing football games, watching a whole nonsense things. When you do that, maybe your wife might be dying that moment. You are the one who needs to protect, to help him out from these things. But you never been there. When she is dying or not. Of us, they just want to laugh at you, play with you, and leave you.
All right,
Pecky
I'm
does
here.
not.
I'm here. I'm here. All right. Whew. So, so we're we're becoming backwards. Oh my goodness. Everything is done backwards. We don't get to know and vet the people before we have a sexual relationship, or or we have the children before the marriage. Oh, the children are being raised with one parent, and sometimes the one parent is so worked out, the kids are running wild.
Yeah,
The child is lucky; they got grandparents, aunts and uncles, older cousins, um, to help raise them. But if they're not, woe for them. Oh, okay. Aaron said your sound is going out, in and out. Okay, so so um, we the ones that's talking about building a community, most of us seem to be going from where we were, but instead of where we're at right now. Right now, we need to go from right now. We can learn from what was done in the past, but we need to do stuff right now. Max has suggested things that we build our own youth center. We have our own program. We put our money together. We buy the land. We build the building. We set it up. We get people involved. It might start off with, okay, I see the place where I want to do the youth center. I know I want to be the kids to be able to come in and do their homework and get tutored and stuff like that. So I need this aspect of a building. I know that I want them to be able to have activities that will keep them off the street, and and more than just playing basketball or some kind of sports activity. Um, how about them learning the building trades? You know, find out who in your communities are carpenters or in the construction industry. Okay, make a plan. Write all that out. Just the fact that you are planning something is a good start. Talk to the men in your community. See how they be willing to help. Some might be willing to do money. Some might be willing to do physical labor, like be one of the laborers to help in the building of the building. Find out if they can do the blueprints or know people that do the blueprints. You never know who might know something. Stuff's happen by accident, like um having my furniture moved in and put together accidentally. I was sending out a word to a particular person, but I wasn't paying attention. I was being lazy, and I accidentally tapped on when they were part of a group text. So I sent the word out, and so everybody in that text got it. Now there's a few like, you want me to what? But that was from the women in the group. But I had plenty of men saying, yeah, just let me know when you need that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't really meant to send it to you, but it's good to know. They live a whole 30 minutes away in another town. Okay, good to know. There was some that said, yeah, but call me. The gentleman, he's not very good with the Texans, but he's definitely a two belt guy. Um, and now I was getting calls from others. One of them, I hadn't seen him since his grandmother passed away. Well, I seen him around town, but I ain't really got to talk to him. I forgot I had his number in my phone. And he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
no problem. Just let me know. Um, and I was surprised, you know, that I had that many willing people. I went from having nobody and thinking of one particular person, hoping to catch them, get them to come after work, to having 4 or 5 guys. And I'm still getting response. I got one the other day from one. It said, I don't really know how to do that, but I'd be willing to give a helping hand. This guy is not a two belt person. He knows a little bit, very, very basic, but he was willing to help. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but you see, one thing that we black people we never knew is that
Mm-hmm.
we don't want one people, and we don't want TV to purchase it from our black stores. You see, we always leave our stores going to these people, their stores to buy from them. How can we move forward when we leave our own? We can go forward when we leave our own. You see, we have everything as a black people. Why is that we go to these white people shops to buy from them? And we leave our shops. How can we move forward? How can we get money to build ourselves and businesses when we don't help ourselves? How can we move forward? We can, because we don't have this kind of relationship between we. All we want is that, okay, I'm a black, you also black, but I don't need to buy anything from your shop. That's what people think. But for me, I feel pity that people think that way, because I know, look at white people, they never buy things from black shops. They always been buying from their own people. So always it looks like they're moving forward and we are going backwards because we don't want our people moving forward. My brother is having, or my sister is having, instead of me to help him or her to move forward, I will not do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you you'll be amazed. You might be surprised who is willing or who is able or who's can do what. Don't make an assumption that because you don't see them do anything. Sometimes people needs to know that the help is needed. Sometimes people get so caught up in their own thing, which they forget until somebody remind them and say, "Oh, well, yeah, I can help with that. Okay, I might not be able to do too much, but I can do this, or I can connect you with somebody who could do this, Or what is your plan? I think you might need to want to add this and that. Or we got some retired teachers and stuff like that. They still be in their teaching mode, you know, because teachers sometimes can't stop teaching. But might be willing, and yeah. So you never know who that might be of like mind, who be willing to do things or put in whatever they can, not just money but effort, connections, to other people who can. But the thing is, put the you gotta put the request out there. If you got an idea for what you want to do to help improve your community, help improve things for the kids, things that get them away from the streets and the bad elements, or keep them safe, then you need to talk to people, find out what you can, you know, scope out places and say, okay, I'm thinking I want to create a place, a land or a building that's already there that we can fix up, or um, I think we need activities that tutor kids. I'm not, schoolwork is not my strong point, but you might know somebody that's a teacher or a retired teacher or a retired principal, a substitute. You never know who you know. You got to put it out there. Yeah, and sometimes you might have the person say, "Okay, but I think you might need this too," and stuff like that. And if you're going there, let's say, so yeah, and you'd be surprised how many people gravitate you. Accidental stuff will happen, and you realize you had a whole bunch of people around you willing and able to help that you didn't know, because you never said anything, never did anything, you never asked. So, for those that be like, well, it's just me. Well, sometimes it starts with just you. It's you. You reached out to somebody. You talk to the men in your community. You talk to them about what you notice and what's going on with the kids in the neighborhood and all this stuff. You talk to the older men, the younger men. You talk to the young guys in the street and say, okay, guys, why are y'all doing this? Why y'all not working or going to school? What is it out here that makes you want to be in the street? They'll probably tell you that there's nothing for them to do. They really rather play ball with their friends, or they really need to get on the computer, but the library is closed at this time, and sometimes they don't have no free time until this time. So they trying to get to some area where they can use their phone, and that's why they linger in there. hmm you don't know. Shoots, while you are looking around for a place or building the building or working on a building to make it up, the your tool belt guys can grab some of these young guys, you know, a few dollars and make them the laborer or show them how to use these tools and tool belt, and then they earning some experience. They earn a little money. Sometimes they don't need a lot of money. They just need something to do. They got all this energy, but they have no direction they're projected to.
Exactly.
hmm But are they intimidated by the tool belt because they had nobody to show them how? They had no father, grandfather, uncle, and stuff like that. And a little bit they know is what they seen their mama do, or they seen it on YouTube, and it's just like that's a lot. But they'll be more willing to do it if they know they have somebody to guide them through it, or that they're not the only ones. hmm Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't have to do anything major. Take small steps in the community help. Like when we had that hurricane go through, and the neighbor's roof got blown. Well, actually, the tree fell on the roof and it tore up part of her roof. The whole community helped. The men that were tool belt able, they grabbed the young boys in the neighborhood, put them to work. And they were like, "Well, I don't know how to use a hammer. What you gonna learn today? Get over here, boy." And now it's like my dad won't, but nope, your dad's right over there. Hey, he said he can't do it. Dad was like, but his dad just happened to be there helping at the moment. The father's kind of in there, out there, but and the boys learning. The woman whose house her grandson was very interested and he wanted to learn because there was a need in him to want to fix his grandmother's house, but he didn't know how. So when the men were willing to teach him, he jumped into it. While some of his friends were dragging their feet, the men had to pretty much drag them there, or their mothers or their grandmothers had to make them or shame them into going to help. He
Mm.
was in it. He was there. He didn't want to say anything bad by his father, but his father didn't know tool belt things, or he worked on a different type of tool belt, not the type that build and fix houses. And from what I'm seeing, some of them learning that these men got property, and hey, you have nothing to do, and you want to earn a few bucks, you can come over there, help with the land. Just do what he tell you to do. Drag trees to the front of the property. Cut grass. Rake leaves. Haul debris. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And it took a natural disaster that and a giant tree to draw this group in this particular sector of the community together and pull the boys into working with some tools for a little bit. And one who didn't realize how badly he wanted to fix things until something happened to his grandmother's house. So he was more willing to ask, "Hey, such and such broke in my grandmother's house. I don't know how to do it." He knew who he could go to, and he knew he could ask, and they would be willing to show him or help him. And he didn't feel any shame because his father couldn't. His father has some disability, and his father worked with a whole nother set of tools. And he learned that there's different tool belts out there. hmm
Yeah.
But it gave him a peace of mind. It gave him something to do with that energy. And hey, it made him feel important. He's the man house. He can fix things. You know, I heard before his grandmother passed away that he was going around fixing things. They gave him some extra tools, so he was tightening in the doors on the cabinets. He was tightening up doorknobs. But hey, it was important for him to do something. Okay. So you don't need a lot with some of these boys. And that's the problem. You don't need a lot. So the bad elements find it easy to nab these boys because they want so badly. They want so badly to be a man. They want so badly to show to be the man. They want so badly to be shown how to do things. You know, um, because there's some instinct need in them that tells them that they should be doing this, or they've seen other men do this, but their father's not showing them. Um, they don't have no other men in their lives, to show them. So they'll nab any opportunity that look like man stuff to jump in.
That's
And then being around men, they realize, hey, there's certain things that women should not be doing that we're doing. The men drove the women away that wanted to try to help drag the limbs and stuff like that. That's how the boys got caught. No, 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 man. No, no, no. I know you want to help, but that's not for you to do. That boy, you see that boy over here. He could do that. No, 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 no. You go see about your mother, or you I would appreciate some water, a big glass of water, something like that. But no, no, no. That's you, don't be killing yourself trying to do all that heavy lifting and work. That's what the bar is there for. Send him. Don't worry. I'll put him to work. And that's when the women started sending the boys out. Go over there across the street and see what you can help with over there. Or the men shame 'em. You let your mother come here and do this? Boy, how lazy you gotta be. Get over here, You not no baby for your mom to be doing stuff for you. You know, sometimes they need to hear these men's voices. Sometimes they need to be shamed to stop being lazy. Stop letting their mom do all this stuff for them or their sister. Because the boys in the neighborhood, they got sisters and everything. Yeah. Or do more than hang around and play basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we cannot be leaving them.
I saw it right there when I was driving through, and it's like, and had the windows down. Hey, because my air conditioning ain't working. And her, it's like, hey, get over here, because one of them he was trying to make his escape. I see you over there. Your dad said we can keep you as long as we want. We need you over here. Get over here. But I don't have nothing to do. No, there's these limbs here. We trimming that tree down. We take all them limbs over to the ditch. It's like they like, oh man, stop being lazy. In fact, they told his mom to lock him out the house. He was mad, but hey, it said, you won't let your mama, your sisters is more willing to work than you are, boy. That don't look right.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry
but I
about that.
know.
Yeah. So yeah, and I forgot about that because the older men are passing away. They were the ones that went through the neighborhood. They were the ones that. Okay, they were the ones that was like they either gave the boys work to do, point out stuff that they need to be doing, shame them into not doing work, or if they see the women in their family doing the work that they should be doing, they were the ones that And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. While Mr. So and so was going about working on his rent houses, yeah, he would shame them boys that would be just doing nothing. Or in one case, the mama is cutting the grass, and that big old boy, as he would say, that big old boy over there. But I don't want him messing up my lawnmower. He's 10 years old. I'm gonna show him how to use the lawnmower. And next thing you know, or he would pull them, hey, you got nothing to do? Hey, I need some work done here. Oh, you don't know? I'm gonna show you how. Get over here. Earn you a couple of bucks. Don't just be standing there doing nothing. There's opportunities all around to work if you look and make some money. I forgot about those older men in the community that was there. You know, are they getting off of work and they see, hey, why y'all hanging out on the streets like that? What y'all doing? Why y'all not home? Why y'all not doing homework? Why y'all not at the library? Why y'all not at the church? Why y'all not over here? And they would be like, and they would break all that stuff up. And or they put them to work. Oh, don't let it be the weekend. Shoots, when more men were home, oh, there was no such thing as a boy being lazy that day. And even if you weren't their son, they would nab you and pull you to do some work. You're gonna be doing. You're gonna be cutting the grass of that widow over there. Here's my lawnmower. Here's the gas. It's already set. All you gotta do is push it, and stuff like that. And that was their way of helping the community. They cut the widows who have no husband, or their children, their sons lived too far away, or they had no children. Take care of their yard and stuff like that. And then they got more involved into the community. They got to know Miss So and So because, hey, she will reward them for doing all that work, not knowing that, or maybe accepting that some man put them to work in the yard by giving them food and water or drink or whatever, and they got to know her. I knew one. His father was parceling him out, as he would say, "Okay, you finished with the yard work over here. Okay, Miss So and So here, Miss So and So there, Miss So and So there," and it's like, and go see what Miss So and So down the street saying, and we just put in work, and he got to know all the women, the elderly women in the neighborhood, and they would dot on him even until they passed away. Even as he grown, went into the military, got married, come back, they was feeding him up, dotting on him, and and he was there, and he ended up becoming a mentor because they were telling them their concerns for their grandchild, their grandson, and stuff like that. He'd be like, "I'm gonna talk with the boy," and stuff like that. So now he's a mentor. He not just in our church, but he's a mentor at the school he works at. He's a he's setting up programs to mentor these boys, to pull the boys off the street, especially during the weekend and the summer when they don't have school occupying them. During the day, that's when more stuff happens. hmm
Yeah.
hmm And he used what he got. He's a deacon at a church, and they have a center. So whenever he wants to do activities or do things to mentor his boys, he talks with the pastor, get permissions, set up the day he mentor boys during that time. So you sometimes you need to work with what you got. All right, hey Max.
Hey, I'm sorry about that, y'all. I had a problem I had to deal with. I'm really, really sorry, everybody in the chat. I know I was on a roll, but I had an important situation I was called away from. Um, uh, I can't even get back to what I was talking with now because I had a personal situation that just took all of my attention away from what I was talking about. So I'm getting ready to shut it down here, and might come back and do something tomorrow. But what was you guys talking about while I was going, Dane?
I was talking about working what you got, and you'd be surprised how many people are willing, or that you don't know. If you got an idea of what you want to do, to help your community, help the boys in your community, you know.
Well, no, the problem is that we just got too many complacent Negroes who talk too much. The black man has reduced himself to a gossiper on social media rather than a mover and a shaker and a builder in real society. And what's bothering me is that these factions, they created this backward mentality. This is why I call it backward compatibility. This backward mentality that's compatible with the mentality of 450 years ago. Because they keep spewing the same crap about the past. There's no new, where's the new thinking? There was no new thinking. We need to go forward. Everybody out here is going forward except black people. We need to go forward. We're still stuck in the rut and going backwards. But I can't. I'm sorry, y'all. I lost my juice. I had a pressing matter to deal with that took a little bit more time than I thought. So it knocked me out of my frame of thought. But we do have a premiere going on with Ladies Night, so enjoy that. Then get the music queued up.
All right.
All right, and I'm gonna have to get off of here because I'm still dealing with some personal issues. But I appreciate you guys coming in, and sorry about that. But I got taken away from what the main objective was. We was talking about. Well, wait a minute. Name. Hold on for 1 second. Hello.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get back into mode here. We was talking about. I was talking about. I think before I left, I was talking about Nipsey Hussle, and when he was murdered, did it ever cross our minds that he was murdered because of absentee fathers? And when we have the males who are the biggest perpetuators of crime in our neighborhood, that falls on black male leadership and black male fatherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's supposed to be corrected.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, but so you're saying that because the guy that killed him has no regards because he might be he
Yeah,
didn't have the
see,
scars in his life to
right,
to
we don't look at it as, well, why is he dead? If you look at the guy Eric Holder, a dude who obviously don't have any guidance, dude that's running around here, you know, with the streets in his head because he's raised by the streets.
Mhm.
So his code is to the streets. His code of conduct isn't respectful of what his father taught him. His code and conduct is a reflection of what he learned in the street. The street became his father, and that's what he's loyal to. See, and that's what he was most concerned about when he had that encounter with Nipsey Hussle. He was cared about what his father thought, which was the streets that raised him. See, if a real father raised him, he would have never been in Nipsey Hussle's face to begin with. But since his father is the street, he was concerned what his father thought about him. And so he performed for his father. See, we
Mhm.
don't think about it that way.
No.
These streets are the fathers to a lot of our boys. A lot of our boys are loyal to the streets. The streets don't have the same family makeup as a regular nuclear family does. The
Mhm.
streets doesn't have humility. It doesn't have morals. It doesn't have family structure like a nuclear family does. So our boys, they don't learn how to become upstanding men. They don't learn how to become men of integrity from a stable home with a real father. What they learn is how to become reckless, degenerates that cause chaos as a normal way of life. And they learn how to not care about life.
Mm.
That's what they learn from the streets. And that's what he was concerned with, what the streets thought. Because if he was concerned what a real father thought, he would have never been in Nipsey Hussle's face. He wouldn't be in the streets to begin with. He'll be a productive young man out here in society doing what he's supposed to do, being a fit man, being a fit father, being a fit husband, and just being a fit person, period, mentally and emotionally, if he had a real father.
Well, do you think that's why that guy said what he said about his daughter? Because it sounds like he he said that because he was more part of the street. He's loyal to the street than he is to the child of his body.
No, that's again, that's a man that's been raised in gang culture who believed that the gangs is his real family. And he's so loyal to that family that it's kind of like being in the mob.
Uh-huh.
Once you win, you can't get out, and you don't put nothing before your family, not even your own seed.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a wild way of thinking. You see, he messed up. He gone.
Uh-huh.
Matter of fact, his baby mom. If I was his relative, I would be insulted if he showed up for his daughter's funeral.
Mm.
Seriously, family should stand there like, what are you doing here? Get the
Yeah.
F out of here. I'm serious. If I was his family and he showed up for his daughter's funeral, I would be on some. What are you doing here? I would be offended that he showed up. His family members should be offended if he attend his daughter's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would be offended.
Yeah. Shooks. Probably would be talking to him as soon as they can. What is this? And tell him don't come.
Okay, give me. Okay, I need 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. So, but either way, it's yeah, Yvette, that's the one I'm talking about. Um, the, that contract is them first before anything. Even God Himself take a back seat to them. Oh, that's really rough. Mexicans are so into to God, it's unbelievable. Uh, or the Catholic Church, one of the two. But but it's still okay. So the guy at McDonald's, he's part of the gang community. So as far as he's concerned, that is his community. It has nothing to do with being black. It's his gang affiliation. But this dude that shot Nipsey Hussle, he's totally street. He's raised by street mentality, street way of thinking things. Okay. Okay, I wish I understood more about what was the street thinking, but it sounds like a uh some kind of weird twisted kind of respect thing, you know. Oh, I guess so. That's why you can't just leave them, Aaron. I knew people that had to move far away to get away from their gang affiliation. And then it was still word because their gang was spreading out. I was like, you're in Texas now. That was all the way in Oklahoma or Arkansas or something like that. And he was like, nah, nah. It may not be today, might not be a year from now, but it'll eventually happen. They get into I do notice they get into that I'm not going to reach 25-year-olds, 25-year-old mentality, or in some cases 21. So, because both men weren't. It seems to me both men weren't raised by their father. Their father wasn't in their life. So one went to the street, the other one went to the game, and both of them are tearing up the community because of their twisted loyalty to the street or to the gang. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Well, that explains some things I've seen, and I'm like, well, once you in a gang, but um, they always say their personal relationship, with Jesus Christ, they no longer part of that, and the fact that they're gang accepted, I say you're gang accepted, they don't have no say in the matter, but yeah, they accept it, I guess. Okay. All right, but either way, the fathers are not there. And yet, they either outright destroying the community or they're destroying themselves. They creating children that they putting in danger, or they are also not being a father to. Or because of their affiliation. Oh, no, I already said that because they leave their women vulnerable. Because you can't do both. You can't serve the game and be able to take care of your family, because the stuff you have to do is going to be in conflict with your family, or it's going to make your family a target, if not from other gangs, then definitely the police, and that, we don't want them there neither. But so I wonder if this is the black women trying to choose the best out of the worst. Got street dudes, got gang dudes. And if that's what's in your community, that's who you choose it from, or you choose none at all. And then again, with no fathers there, women have no idea that these men are not men, because they don't have no fathers in their lives neither. Women need to see men growing up to see what a man is, what a man does, to see the variety of good men that there are. Shoot, some of those other ones we starting to forget. And even still, we have to refer to our fathers, our grandfathers, our uncles, our brothers, our, um, our cousins. If we lucky, our husbands. Yeah. So,
Okay, I'm
so the
back.
father not being there is not the boys are not seeing what it is to be a man and being taught how
Well,
what it is to be a man, a father,
well,
and
can
a
you hear
husband.
me?
Hmm. Oh, okay. I hear
Well,
you
no,
now.
what it is that, again, you see, the simple answer to this problem is male leadership, black male leadership, and fatherhood. That is the simple answer to this problem. You see, failed, terrible male leadership and horrendous fatherhood is what creates guys like Eric Holder, the one that took Nipsey Hussle life. That's what creates these guys. I'm telling y'all what it is. This is not coming from white supremacy. It's not coming from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's not coming from the higher state or lower state of consciousness and a low vibration. It's not coming from any of that. What it's coming from is, shout out to the beautiful Cynthia G. I'm going to quote her, is black male passivity. She is absolutely right on black male passivity. That is a huge part of this problem. Too many passive, grown Negroes in the community, coupled with horrendous fatherhood. That is what is creating and contributing on an ongoing basis to the Killer Youth Project, KYP. It creates killer youth with no guidance, with no respect for authority, people, or property, or life, because there is no mental structure, there is no cultural structure within the minds of these young boys because they are fatherless. And then there are no strong male figures in the community for them to learn from. Black male passivity and horrendous fatherhood is what's creating this problem.
Okay. Is there anything we can do about it, or we just move on, work on the next generation? No, we're still alive. There's other people. You just don't want talking or chatting in the chat.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right, and so that's what creates this problem.
Okay.
Right, and that's what the problem is. Like I said, when we see young boys out here killing other young boys, killing babies, killing women, do we ever stop to think that the reason behind this is absentee fathers? Males are perpetuating the most violence and crimes in all of our communities. You don't see women out here committing these kinds of crimes. You don't see black women committing this kind of violence. You don't. This is
Yeah.
carried out by unruly males who have been raised in the street and have been taught no sense of direction, no culture, no understanding, no guidance at all, no respect for authority, nothing. That is what this is. Now we can sit up here and sugarcoat it and go into all of these other things. You can talk about policies. You can try to blame it on someone else. But you see, at the bottom line of all of this is that as a black male, you're supposed to control what's in your neighborhood. You're supposed to teach what's in your neighborhood. You're supposed to teach, cultivate, and grow what's in your home.
There's nobody there doing that anymore. The ones that were, they dying away. The elders are going away, and maybe just their children or those that they mentor are taking it in. But now it seems like the neighborhood, instead of being one big giant neighborhood, is like several sections of a neighborhood. This neighborhood, there these two fathers that's kind of doing what they can in their neighborhood, and then another neighborhood, another section over, there's this father and this grandfather that's kind of keeping an eye on that neighborhood. And then you got this one over here, but there's no one, keeping an eye on that neighborhood. They kind of like fending for themselves as individuals. And then there's another one across the highway. Is on this sector there is a family of men. They got that whole section there from this street all the way to the school. Then you go over a canal, and then there's, well, now it's just one man. He died. The others are at work all the time, so you don't see them till the weekend. So it's kind of on its own until the weekend. Okay. All right, Max. Do you see that happening in your area or in other areas that you travel through, Max?
Hold on one second.
Oh, okay. What about you, Aaron? Has it been seem like that to you in your area or areas that now instead of it being whole sections, it's just like these couple of blocks of the neighborhood may be watched by one or two men, and then there's either nothing or very little, and then the next couple of blocks may be watched by a man or two. Oh, hey, Briggs. I was saying that a lot of the men that used to watch the neighborhood, they're all elders or they passed away, and maybe one or two of their children or the boys they mentored who are men now might be doing it, but it seemed like what used to be one big whole gigantic neighborhood that was being um, looked over by a lot of men, or is now there's just one or two of each area. Oh, okay. 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 Um. April. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, that's when is exactly right. A lot of the elders are gone. Also got rid of a lot of programs and community centers, but you have no place to congregate without being harassed. Okay. He said, hold on, and took a nap. No, he didn't take a nap. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, we as black men definitely need to be grassroots level, taking our community back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because until Max brought it up, I had forgotten how much the men in the community have policed the community. I don't
Okay,
know
I'm
how
back.
many.
Sorry about that.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just having a hard. Sometimes family ain't shit. You know what? We're gonna do a show about that one day. Okay, I promise y'all. We're gonna do a show titled "Family Ain't Shit Half the Time." We all gonna sit up in here and talk about how sometimes our families ain't shit. I'm dead serious, and I'm going to lead the way, starting with myself. I got 5 brothers, and sometimes now one of them ain't shit. I mean,
Uh-oh.
it's just telling you, man. Family, I tell you. But we're gonna do a lot on that. But let me get back to what I was saying. Um, yeah, so when we look at what happened to Nipsey Hussle, and not just him, but there's been other young brothers that's been shot. There's been sisters that's been shot, children that's been murdered. When we look at these boys, we don't think about the fact that they're behaving this way because they have one of the most important things missing from their life, and that's fathers. Like I said, when Nipsey Hussle was murdered, we had a whole bunch. I heard people come up with all kinds of conspiracies. He was doing this, he was doing that, and that may have been true. But what I didn't hear anybody say that maybe if that young man, Russell Holder, had a real father in his life, he would have never been in Nipsey Hussle's face to begin with. That's what I'm saying. The leadership in our communities are non existent. Our boys have nobody to look up to. Pimps aren't leaders in the community. Macs aren't leaders in the community. Womanizers aren't leaders in the community. Those three type of men aren't men our young boys should be looking up to for leadership. That's not what it's about. The only thing our boys can learn from those kinds of men is to be the worst human being that they possibly could be. That is the only thing that they can learn from those three types of men. The problem is this too. As a black man, you've allowed a superficial family to come into your neighborhood and pose as a black nuclear family, which is a mockery of the real black nuclear family, right? Now, some people say, well, there's no such thing as a nuclear family, whatever. Mother, father, children under the same roof. Let's do like this. You've allowed a superficial family, a fictional family, to come into your neighborhood and set up shop and pose as a real black family, which are gangs. You got these young boys out here right now talking about gangs are family. And you're wondering why these boys are out here acting like homicidal maniacs. They believe that gangs are family. Again, this is a failure of black men. You let gangs and leaders of gangs, filth in the street, come into your community and pose as you. The gang leaders are now the fathers in our community. To all these unwanted boys, all of these unfathered boys, these gang leaders are posing as you. And they're making a mockery of the solid family that you once established so many years ago. And that's how guys like Eric Holder, the one that killed Nipsey Hussle, that's how guys like that get created, and that's the way they get raised. What do the gangs tell these young men to do? They got to put in work. And what kind of work do you think that is? That work includes taking life of other black people. It includes selling drugs in the community. It includes running down on other black people and causing them bodily harm, even to the point of death. That's putting in work. And the problem with it is many of us, we act like it's a badge of honor. Like, yo, man, young boy putting in work. He got teardrops on his eyes. What those teardrops represent? They represent bodies. It's a sad day when our boys are walking around here with a badge of shame on their face for all to see. And that badge of shame is something that they're proud of. That teardrop represents taking a life. And that's what they're proud of. When people see that teardrop in the hood, they fear them, and that's what gives them a sense of self. It's a shame that they have to feel that way by putting somebody in their grave. Because there were no fathers there to teach them better. There are no fathers there to give them the right route that they need to travel to get to the understanding that they need to deal with everyday life. They walk around with a tear under the eye, which is really a mockery of someone grieving of losing a loved one. And that is what they're proud of. That is what they get accolades over. Taking the life from someone. And as black men, that's something that we have allowed, and that's something that we should be ashamed of. That's something we should be ashamed of. Our boys running around here with teardrops and representations of taking life on their bodies is something that we should be ashamed of black men. We have failed our boys. We have failed our black community. Our boys should be running around here with ideas of innovation, of new technologies for the future. They should be putting us on the map as black people. Black technology should be reigning supreme right about now. Black business should be reigning supreme right about now. Black colleges, black hospitals, infrastructure should be built. Our youth should be building our infrastructure. They should be hard at work building a powerful economy for our future. That is what we should have led them to do. But we have led them down the wrong road by not raising them, and they've gone down their own road, and they fell into a fictional family that is now posing in the black community as the real black family, which are gangs. And the head of those gangs are now their fathers. And so instead of them being the innovators and super inventors of black technology and innovation for all the world to see, they have become a blight on our society. And that is there for all the world to see as well. So instead of people seeing our brilliance as fathers, while our sons and daughters are out there blowing everybody away in innovation, technology, medicine, science, and them seeing the brilliance of us as some of the best fathers that walk this earth, they see a failure. They see our failure as fathers, and that we are some of the worst fathers who walk this earth. Because our children, they walk in and live in and behave in a cesspool of shame every single day. And that, black men, is our fault. That is what we have allowed to happen under our watch. So the next time you see a young man take another man's life or a child's life, ask yourself, instead of asking yourself, where was the mother? Ask yourself, where the hell was the father?
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, I'm at the end of my rant.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, my black yard.
Hey, what's going on, Lucy? What up, Jarhead? What you doing? Lucy. Lucy, I gotta ask you something. I'm about to ask you in the back chat. I want to ask you up here on live. We get Dan, you want to say anything?
um,
Uh,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead
wrap
and
it up. Um, I'm gonna wrap
mhm.
it up because hey, I'm tired. Um, I um, I can't
Got
think of
nothing to
what
say
I
about what I
want to
just
say.
said? Was that a
Oh,
mic
well,
dropper?
well, yeah, that is a mic dropper. What can I do behind that? Um, but but yeah, the interesting thing, when did it all of a sudden stop being, where's the father? It used to be, that's what they asked, where's your father? Where's your father? And then it was, where's your parents? And all of a sudden become, where your mother? And that's been it ever since. But anyway, uh, Afrofuturism should be the norm in our community. Okay.
All right,
My,
everybody, we got to shut it down. Then you got the music queued up.
yes. Peace, power, and unity, everyone.
All right, peace, power, unity, everybody. I believe we still got a premiere going on, right? A ladies' night.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
y'all go check out that ladies' night. It's pretty funny. We got Lucy in the morning there cutting up, so it's playing right now. Okay, we'll holler
Okay.
at y'all probably tomorrow, somewhere like that. All right, peace, power, unity. Name hit it. Let's get out of here. Hey, Lucy, let me holler at you in the back chat.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5. Bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shooting the game, going for mine. And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the reel.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for this ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke is cooking, beans is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid. Caught up in the ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive. Peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the 4.5. Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me. Bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They rather see it spray. But I'm like Diddy, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off. Using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off. Hitting up spots, heating up blocks. Investing in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. Yeah, get yours, I get down for mine. Get down for this. Get it, put your hands in the